let's put him right where he belongs. Right there. Now, it's not going to hurt me, but there you go. Now, can we make this even better? I believe so. So if I go you, and then we go like this. How's that look? Does that look like a frowny face to you? Oh, you're upset, princess? Fuck yourself. Whose house do you think you're in? Now, we have to update book. So what should we call you? Do we give you a name? Now, I've been thinking about this all day. So this is Juan Dirtbag. Right there. That's you, fucko. Now that we've done that, there's no one here to save you. You can be upset all you want, but there's no one here to save you. And when I do my private save, believe me, buckaroo, you're coming with me, bro chacho. Yeah, you fucking are. No one wastes my time like that, you little shit. Alright, so how does a person go from being crucified on Crucifixion Hill to this? How does one person redeem themselves so much from being an absolute anathema to all of management to being a laureate of our group? Interesting question. A very interesting question. A long time ago, I was asked by Ale, I believe it was, who the most controversial person on the server was. And that person, without a shadow of a doubt, would have to be Dirty. He's a person who raised the blood pressure of each and every one of us at some point and still came good in the end. It's a redemption arc I can... If I didn't experience it myself, I wouldn't have believed it, but it deserves to be immortalized. Now, little known thing about my house is downstairs there is the book which I'm currently holding, which is the Ledger. And within the Ledger, there is every single person who's on the server who isn't someone who's from the Legion, a laureate, or family. I'm keeping tabs on everyone. When it comes to Dirty, though, he happens to have the biggest write-up and has done the most things that, in theory, he should have been banned. In theory, there should have been an exterminatus, but there wasn't. So, let me go over it. Once upon a time, a very long time ago, back when the village was completely brand new, and before I'd even completed the seawall, that down there, the village itself, was exactly like a village. It was leading out to a stream. It was exactly what you'd imagine to be naturally generated. I leveled it out, I built the seawall, and Dirty decided that he was going to dig underneath the entire village, and he stole 26 complete stacks of dirt from underneath it. Now over there, just in the distance, there is where I harvest sand from. So he went and wasted something like 5 hours of my time going over there and digging it all up and bringing it all back and filling in all the holes just so I could put the village on top of it. Later on, he would go up there and do the exact same thing. Now, the reason he was caught was he didn't put torches in the ground. And I would have found out anyway when I was digging up the pathways that there were holes in the ground everywhere. But the way that I caught him was, the game, even when you put torches in the ground, will tell you that there's a cave nearby through an auditory cue. And that's how I caught him. Now, I was so pissed off that he'd already begun a project over where the dragon is, you know, the little island inside of the end. He'd gone and he was trying to make it into an oasis, which I believe he's completed now, and he put all the dirt that he stole over there. So I went all the way over there, cut it right down the middle, took all my stacks of dirt back, and left him a note that said, the next time you decide to steal from me, remember what it cost you. And I told him to stay away from all my shit, which is just pretty general for me. But those stacks of dirt I held in escrow somewhere. And later on, I would wind up giving those things back. So he did that 4 times. I filled the village in 4 times. He desecrated my front lawn, and then there's spawn desecration. Now, this is a thing that would go down in history as one of the only times on stream I have ever heard Garbage Man completely lose his shit. And I'm not talking about he lost his shit a little bit. He lost his shit a lot. It was biblical how far Garbage Man went off the deep end. Dirty would wind up in visitor mode, and he was very, very close to being banned. And he was very, very close to either myself or the other curator coming in and completely fucking his shit. Garbage Man slept on it. He gave Dirty a very stern warning, and Dirty came good. And that would be as far as Dirty went in fucking with all of us. The amount of rage that came out of me, the amount of rage that came out of Garbage Man that night, like, Garbage Man lost an elytra in the process. It was a complete shit show. So basically, underneath where Spawn is, there was a trial, and Garbage Man was going to leave that to do something with it. Dirty went in there and shit it up. There were mobs everywhere, far more than what there should have been. Garbage Man went in there to try and fix it. Later on, Buttonfly joined the fray. They both lost tons of gear. They ended up borrowing gear from me. Thankfully, they got it back because the railgun was borrowed. And I was not there at the time, but I watched the stream later, and Jesus Christ, that is a beauty. If you can go through Garbage Man's archives and find that stream, really, really suggest watching it, because holy fuck, that was amazing. Just as a thing of lore, not the fact that Garbage Man was raging and had to go through what I'd been through. It wasn't a thing of, well, it's funny when it happens to someone else. It wasn't anything like that. It was just one of those lore things where it's going to be a long time before I see Garbage Man lose it again. And yeah, one of those moments. So that was the thing which Dirty did. So 30 stacks of stolen dirt were repossessed. There were village desecrations. The front lawn was desecrated, and then there was spawn desecration. So how does all of that turn into a good thing? Well, now, in my museum of everything, there is every single armor trim that's inside of the game. All the pots. On the other side, there's all of the content-related stuff. But Dirty would go out of his way, being very chaste and having a reality check that he had, or a vibe check as the kids call it. He decided he was going to apply himself to the realm. He lent a hand as much as possible. He went and did all the extra content. He actually went farming the right way, no shortcuts taken, which is the right way to do this game. Because basically, if you're duping items and you're being generally worthless, then you might as well just be playing in creative. And while Legion members can't be bought, and we can't be bribed, Dirty went and did the one thing that we were dreading without any prompting. He just decided that that's what he was going to do. And he went and farmed ancient cities hard enough to the point where all the ones around us are completely looted. And he found the one armor trim we didn't have, which has such a ridiculously low percentage chance to be inside of a loot chest. I think it's something like below 1%. And he went and found the rarest Pepe. And while we have a few more now, because they've been duplicated for the museum and for armor trims so people can use them, he went and found us that, and he left it on my front lawn with a chest, and completely selflessly just said, I left you a gift, please enjoy, or something like that. He left one for Garbage Man as well. So he went out of his way and burned resources on duping them, or not duping them, it's a thing that you can do inside of there. You can duplicate them legitimately. You don't just do it through some retarded exploit. And he gave that to me. And at the time when the museum was over there in the Blackstone, I'd put it up on the wall as a place of honor inside of that. At the moment, now with the way that the new museum is, armor trims are separate, but at one point, all of my ancient city stuff was together. Minus a few things because I didn't have them at the time. Even later on, he would gift me for the museum this item here. After he'd spent an inordinate amount of time helping people out and doing things for the realm because it was for the realm, when I decided that outsiders were to be summarily kept out of Legion grounds after they were sanctified, he was one of two people who would be given a passport into these lands wherever they happen to be in the future. I am on the cusp of farming for my own magnum opus, so when those grounds are built and the foundations laid, he will, of course, will be welcome to that. When it was that Meme Frag stole from all of us, one of the persons that was mostly affected by that, I was enraged, Garbage Man was enraged, but he went into Dirty's house and stole quite a few things. So, Garbage Man was the one who talked me into Dirty being completely redeemed. And I would say that of all the things that have been built in the realm, Dirty has built far and flung, I would say, the most outside of any of us. Now, Dirty has a house all of his own, and I've criticized it, just as people give each other shit in a friendly way. He built what I've always called the hole in the ground, and he's always taken criticism on board or advice on what to build. And I've run through his house before, and he's done that. He's also done Evergreen, which will get its own video in time, and he's really added to the realm. Garbage Man's correct. He's only added to it, and he's only added to what this place has become. So in terms of being redeemed, the day that the rarest Pepe showed up on my front lawn, it kind of won me over in the sense that I didn't go and use all the dirt. Like I said, I put it in escrow. I immediately gave it back and I said that your debts were paid and me and you were good. But within this book, there is a thing that I've been considering. The game, much like life, there are actions and there are consequences. You can half-ass something, or you can do things properly. With actions and consequences, while he has come an incredibly long way, right here it says bone meal, upcoming. Now, that's not exactly a threat, it's more like a guarantee that if he ever backslides on the way that he currently is, with the way that he behaves now as a responsible human being, with ever being an upstanding person who knows what personal responsibility is, then one of these days I will come calling, and it's going to be quite a huge thing, which I've already got planned and I've already got things put away for in the event that that happens, inside of my own vault. And I don't think it will ever come to that. I believe he's come far enough that it should never ever come to that, but the reality check is always there and it's always waiting for if something stupid should ever happen. He's a good boy, as far as I can tell. He's come a long way, he's done a lot of things. Recently he said he doesn't know what he should do, and like I said, he's always taken my advice, and I would say the game's only as boring as what you make it. Like, if you only treat this as like a building game and you're only going to chase content, there's plenty of content to be found still. There's all the achievements still to be done. You could easily go through and do all of that if you so chose. But otherwise, there's always projects that you can do. Like, I overhauled a village. I'm not going to say you should do the same thing, but anything that you see, you can immediately do something better as the game gives it. One thing that I've done, and what the Duper has also done, is we've done waterworks. I split an entire ocean in Java. One day I'll go through and make a video on all of those sorts of things and go through all of the seasons. The Duper went through and did what someone else did in a hardcore save, and that is building a ring around like a water monument or something, and then you take all the water out of that area, and then you build inside of there. That's another thing you can do. One thing that I've done previously, I did it in the defining season of me playing Minecraft, was, and a lot of people have done it, you go and do the Egyptian. You go out into a desert and you build a giant pyramid and you build like a working town. And when I say a working town, find a village, find villagers, make the village work into your build. Have all of your forges there, have all of your industry there. Like, make it something. Make an oasis there. Like, there's a million things you can do in this game. Garbage Man has talked about building in the end. It's nothing that I've personally done, but that's something you can definitely approach. Like, it looks like space. Build something space-like out there. Anything that's worth doing in this game can't be done in 5 minutes. The grind is real. Like, any dog shit creative player can dupe items. They can do that. But there's an honesty in the grind. Yeah, grinding is really boring. But if through that honest effort, when you get to doing these big bullshit builds, it makes it far more worthwhile. It's far more worthwhile than building some fucking empty mountain and some empty something else. You've earned every piece of that. Just like, apart from the duping places, like everything else within the realm. It was all honestly made. Everything was honestly farmed. I mean, you could build a recreation of something that already exists and make it, and, you know, within it. Like, it's not just about building a shell, it's about putting life into it. Buttonfly famously turned around and said to all the Dupers stuff that it's all just soulless, and it is. Within everything we have all personally done, there is that human element added into it that makes everything not only just look lived in, but it has been lived in. It's all built from necessity. These are all things you could do. You could go out and build an ice castle using actual, like, blue ice. A million things you could do in this game, dude. The game is worth it. The game is 100% worth it if you just take inspiration from something else. I'm not talking about following a tutorial. Like, don't get me wrong, your portal sword and whatever tutorial you followed for that was great, I'm sure. But you could have just used it as inspiration and just, you know, made it up as you went along, like put your own stank on it. And that's what all of this shit is. That is my advice. Pick something that you've never done before and push yourself. Not because you feel obligated to, but because it's just cool doing that shit because you can. Don't use duped crap. It's rubbish. It's a rubbish way of playing this game. At that point, just play fucking creative and pass off that you've done it. Put in a time lapse, like those 1,000-hour builds, and just pass off that you're doing God's work without the world edit, or use world edit, or whatever. Do that somewhere else. Do all that crap somewhere else. Put in the effort. That's my advice. But apart from that, yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy that came good. It's worth acknowledging all the shit that he's done. Like I said, I'm going to do a deep dive on Evergreen after I make the next video, probably in the next few weeks, on Ale, which is a story so bizarre that it actually humbled me a little bit. So yeah, that's coming up. This was worth immortalizing, though, so thanks, Dirtbag, for being around. You're a good kid. You're alright in my book. It's made this server a little bit more rich. So yeah, you did good, kid. You did good. That's me for right now. I'll be back at some other time. Jolly good. See you later, Kents. Bye.